honestly, how many people here have heard of Mahmoud Khalil and the situation that he is facing? Yeah! What do we have to say to that? Hell no! Hell no! It's vicious, rightfully. So, with that, this is a developing situation that really is a critical front of struggle. Donald Trump has been waging an all-out war against the working class since he got in office. And now he is coming into direct conflict with the domestic movement for Palestine. This is going to be a temperature check for our movement, comrades. The movement for Palestine has been building for decades, but over the past 15 months now, since October 8th, and locally since October 8th here in Pack Square Park, we have been out here to say we are fighting for a free and liberated Palestine. Am I right? Yeah. Now, the arrest of Mahmoud Khalil is a clear declaration of war by the Trump administration on one of our most fundamental rights, freedom of speech. Now, what do we think about that? The White House has literally admitted on the record that he has not been charged with a crime. He has not broken any law. And he had never committed any violence or threatened any violence against any communities. And yet, well, I challenge any naysayers to go and watch. Go and look at what was happening on these campuses and in these encampments. These were beautiful roots and really gardens of revolutionary optimism growing. We had cultural exchanges. People broke bread together. Students studied what was going on in ways that the United States working class and youth really have never looked abroad and said, what is going on here? What is the real story? And for that, for being the lead negotiator between the students and the university, Mahmoud was judged guilty. Why? We know. But we really don't know on paper how they're going to run this argument. Because Mahmoud, unlike what the news is saying, was not just a visa holder. He had a green card. And so he is legally in this country, and he does, in fact, have First Amendment rights, like anyone who is in this country should have. Correct? Yeah. Now, again, for this, ICE kidnapped, swarmed in on him and his wife, his 8-month pregnant wife, on their way home from iftar dinner, on their way into their student housing, and took Mahmoud. They didn't even freeze, they asked the question, well, he's got a green card. They said, we're revoking it too. This is not possible. There's a process for this. To do that is a blatant and flagrant violation of our First Amendment rights and the Constitution. But they weren't even ready for what happened after the fact, right? Because our movement immediately swarmed to the ICE detention center that he was located at. And they flew him immediately down to Louisiana, trying to hide Mahmoud. But our movement was too strong. We followed him. We sent a contingent of 50 people to the outside of that detention center, making noise constantly, so that the Trump administration knows they are not going to get away with this. Now with that, I'd like to turn it over to you to talk a little more about the domestic situation.
You want to stay on my back for this? Yeah, you can if you hold the mic. He's okay.
I'll stay up. Okay.
I have a friend with me.
Okay.
I wanted to bring some attention to the local and national response to Mahmoud's abduction. So far, only 14 members of Congress have called out Mahmoud Khalil's arrest as an assault on our freedom of speech. It is worth noting that AOC was not among them. This
shame.
Shame.
That includes the Progressive Congress.
Exactly. This is unacceptable. Their job is to protect our rights and uphold the Constitution. They should all be outraged, regardless of their political affiliation. But they've forgotten they work for us, the American people. Not Netanyahu, not Elon Musk, not any billionaire or major corporation. That is corruption. And it is time that we remind them who they work for. Columbia University is also complicit in this rights violation and many others. They have made it clear that they put genocide over their students, who, by the way, are the only reason any of their faculty or staff have a paycheck. Following Khalil's detainment, yeah, what he said. Following Khalil's detainment, Columbia has expelled, and revoked the degrees from 22 students for protesting the genocide in Palestine.
Wow.
I have a friend going to Columbia right now who is Palestinian. Last year, counter-protesters threw skunk water, which is an IDF tactic, on her, causing lasting health issues, and the university has done nothing to help her. When 14 of her family members died in a church bombing in Gaza, her professors were unsure if they could give her an extension on assignments, and she's been repeatedly harassed by Zionist faculty. This is an absolute embarrassment. Columbia does not deserve its accreditation or status as an Ivy League school if this is how they treat their students and alumni. As we fight for Khalil's release and Palestinian freedom, I want us all to remember Aaron Bushnell. On February 25th last year, Bushnell, a 25-year-old Air Force member, set himself on fire outside the Israeli embassy in D.C., saying he will no longer be complicit in genocide. We cannot let his sacrifice be in vain. Bushnell and Khalil have done more in the fight for Palestinian liberation than any politician has. We cannot allow them to sit idly by anymore. People's lives are on the line. They do not get to be comfortable. Do not let them be comfortable.
That's right. Thank you. Trump cannot get away with this massive violation of Mahmoud's rights, because if that happens, who's next? Anyone. The bar is on the floor. There is no bar. And that we see is happening across this country as he attacks our immigrant neighbors, brothers, sisters, comrades, friends. And that, my friends, is extremely unacceptable. No. Donald Trump, let's be clear.
Donald Trump, let's be clear.
Immigrants are welcome here.
Immigrants are welcome here.
Donald Trump, let's be clear.
Donald Trump, let's be clear.
Immigrants are welcome here.
Immigrants are welcome here.
No hate, no fear.
No hate, no fear.
Refugees are welcome here.
Refugees are welcome here.
No hate, no fear.
No hate, no fear.
Refugees are welcome here.
Refugees are welcome here.
Speaking to you today as a woman, a member of the LGBTQ plus community, and a mother that's increasingly worried. I have two beautiful biracial children that I fear for every day. Our politicians have created a country where sending them to school has me fearing I may never see them again. Instead of daydreaming of their futures, I imagine how I'll keep them alive and happy in a country that doesn't even afford them basic human rights. Healthcare, housing, food, and water. I've seen police in numbers at my son's school because of a gun-related threat, and he just shrugged it off like it was nothing. That broke my heart, it infuriated me, and it radicalized me. I no longer have the capacity to plan that happy future with my children because I find myself only able to focus on their immediate survival. Worried that my daughter will never get to chase her dreams because her rights are being stripped away. That my son or his father may be targeted by our militarized, racist police who are trained by the IDF simply because their skin is darker than mine. Worried if our earth will even be inhabitable by the time they want families of their own. I find myself fighting for their future so they even get the chance to have one. Fuck Trump! Fuck Trump! This is the reality of most working class mothers in this country. My children are U.S. citizens and their father is a veteran with over a decade of U.S. military service, but none of that protects them from being wrongfully taken by ICE and disappeared by our government. This openly fascist administration is kidnapping legal residents, Native Americans, targeting students, activists, and tearing families apart, sending people to literal concentration camps. This is not the world I want for my children, and this is unacceptable. We all know the saying, the only thing needed for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing.
Yes.
With each passing day, I watch that dream of a safe haven for my family in this country slip further and further away. And it eats at me to know that I'm not alone in this reality.
You're not alone, Mama.
Millions of women, BIPOC, disabled, and LGBTQ plus people share that reality and are feeling the same dread. The billionaire agenda is to take our voices and erase our status as human beings even. All the protections and freedoms that we've won through generations and generations of struggle are being taken at an alarming rate. We have to stop being so complacent. We have to stop waiting for someone else to do something. We have to stop letting fear of the unknown hold us back from fighting for a future we can be safe in. The fear, insecurity, and desperation that so many of us face every day is completely unnecessary and is directly created by capitalism and a handful of ultra-wealthy parasites. If our voices held no power, they wouldn't try so hard to silence us. When we work as a community, as a collective, human beings can literally move fucking mountains. Overcoming a fascist regime is something that others have accomplished, and we will too. I urge all of you to get organized, get educated, and join the fight back.
For this 4-year chapter where Americans are going to be mostly focused on domestic issues, I just want to remind everybody that the fight against imperialism has to continue alongside our other struggles. We've already seen Trump attempting to leverage Ukraine's impossible position to turn them into a mineral colony. We've seen him share a vile AI-generated video of his envisioned future of Gaza as a vacation destination. You're right. That video reminded me a little bit of Puerto Rico, where indigenous people were pushed off of their lands to allow the U.S. to extract resources, and as soon as it fulfilled its purpose for the empire, the island was gentrified, it was made into a tax haven and a vacation destination for the ultra-rich, while the working class there is increasingly struggling to afford to live in their own communities. It sounds like a distant issue, like it's not going to affect you guys here, but the empire uses the same tactics against its own people. We've all noticed prices going up with the threat of tariffs on the horizon, and it's a scary thing. Everyone's worried about affording food for their families, housing, basic needs. Puerto Ricans have been effectively living under tariffs for the past 100 years. The Jones Act effectively doubles shipping costs and increases the time it takes to get goods to the island. And make no mistake, it also increases shipping costs for you here, just to a lesser degree. And then there was Operation Bootstrap in the 40s, which forcibly industrialized Puerto Rico and forced Jibaro farmers to sell their land to either immigrate or work in American factories. That's how I got here, actually. That's when my family moved up here. This made the island more highly dependent on imported food, which has compounded the damage of the Jones Act. That should sound familiar, like how we rely heavily on imported food from Mexico, which Trump has been threatening to place tariffs on as well. That the same threat to the food security in Puerto Rico is threatening the food security here. Does everybody remember when Trump visited here back in January and proceeded to do absolutely nothing to help people here after Helene?
Yep.
He even threatened to freeze disaster relief money if the Asheville government didn't agree to cooperate with ICE. In Puerto Rico, we've dealt with a very, very similar issue. After Hurricane Maria back in 2017, FEMA was not provided the resources it needed to allow Puerto Ricans to rebuild. There was water shipped and not distributed. It was left in warehouses because there was no one to work them, and Trump showed up. He gave speeches, and then he threw paper towels at people as if that was going to help anyone. As if throwing some paper towels at people is anything remotely helpful. It's no different than what he's done here. Talking big game, but taking away the actual tools that we need to rebuild after this natural disaster.
Right, that part.
And that's the message that I wanted to leave on. That the struggles across the world here are very, very similar, and we need to work together, learn from each other to actually make it through these struggles. None of us are free until we're all free. So it's with the same conviction that I call for an independent Puerto Rico, that I say free Palestine, free the Congo, free South Korea, and free every nation that is exploited by the imperialism of the U.S. Viva Boricua! Thank you, everybody.
El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido.
The people united will never be defeated.
The people united will never be defeated.
Come on, I can hear y'all. Come on. Alright, so as everyone knows, Hurricane Helene came through and destroyed homes and took lives, right? The natural disaster that none of us asked for. And so when I met the organizers who put this together today, I was actually staying in a FEMA hotel in a hotel on a FEMA voucher. And everybody was about to get kicked out right before the big winter storm came through. And so we started knocking doors and getting to know people and their stories and just the community members. And a lot of the recipients of the hotel vouchers were the elderly or the disabled, but the majority were all renters, right? And they were fixed to be homeless. And so I've never been to a protest, actually, surprisingly, until January 5th, when they said, you want to do a protest? And I was like, yeah, sure. So we did it. You know, we had 3 people right here. 3 people at a protest. So long story short, I ain't never missed one since. But then we didn't stop there, though. So we went to our mayor. You know, she's a part-time mayor to begin with. And she still wouldn't even come out and listen to what we had to say. She wouldn't at all show her face. Right. So we made sure she had to see us. So we went to the city council meeting where she had to hear us. Right? We pleaded for the extensions through the winter storm. And there's still people in hotels today because of it. So, yeah, what's up? I found out that when you fight for something like basic human rights, you win.
I'll probably say
It started out with 5,600 people in those hotels, and today it's less than 200, but it's still something. Had we not stood up and fought, people would have been homeless, people would have froze to death that weekend, you know? So, and then Trump came to town, twice, actually. But people are still homeless though, right? So it doesn't matter whether it's the state, the local, or the federal government, none of them care about us. None. They get to go home to one of their homes that night and rest their heads. But now they're targeting everybody. Not just Khalil victims, not just black people, not just brown people. They're targeting everybody, the workers of America. So it's going to take all of us to keep fighting, to keep calling them out, to showing up and sharing our struggles, because that's the only thing we have in common. If it's not anything else, it's that. We have struggles in America because of them. You know, when we undermine their only tactic, and that's divide and conquer. So when we come together in solidarity to share our struggles, that's the only way to break their democratic shell and win. Thank y'all.
Free Khalil! Are we gonna fight back for Khalil? That's right! So we're gonna keep fighting until he's free! Because we stand with immigrant rights, we stand for women's rights, we stand with Palestine, and we're gonna fight back until people have everything they deserve in this country and around the world.
Arrest the president!
Do you guys want to march? Do you want to march? All right, let's go! Stop it! Stop wall! No ban! No wall! No ban! No wall! No ban! No wall! Say it right! Say it once! Say it twice! We will not put up with ICE! We will not put up with ICE! Say it right! Say it right!
Racism has got to go.
Say it loud, say it clear.
Say it loud, say it clear.
Immigrants are welcome here.
Immigrants are welcome here.
Say it loud, say it clear.
Say it loud, say it clear.
Immigrants are welcome here.
Immigrants are welcome here.
Somebody lost their home.
Say it clear.
Say it loud, say it clear.
Immigrants are welcome here.
Immigrants are welcome here.
No ICE in our state.
No ICE in our state.
No fear, no hate.
No fear, no hate.
No ICE in our state.
No ICE in our state.
No fear, no hate.
No fear, no hate.
No ICE in our state.
No ICE in our state.
The people united will never be defeated.
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 Say it loud and say it clear.
Say it loud and say it clear.
Immigrants are welcome here.
The people united will never be defeated.
I said the people united will never be defeated.
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 Look to your left and look to your right. And if you're in the streets, look to your left and look to your right. These are who we have to rely on. We're going to build systems that our people base. And we will actually take direct action to them. Where they make their money, we will sit in. Where they want to run these roads, we will walk. Because it's for us first. I'm going to tell you right now, the best thing you can do when you go home is make sure you text somebody you met here today. So it does not stop here. Because we are not done. They are done stealing our humanity for profit. They are done taking who we are and saying that we are illegal. They are done because we are done with it.
I got a story!
Yeah.
Let's tell the whole wide world that this is people's territory!
Fucking disgusting. Blech.